Hey guys, it's Owen Swart here from D20, and this is Morsel. It's been a while since you guys have heard from me, and I just wanted to drop a little video to give you an update on what the situation is, what's happening, and what to expect over the next little while. So, as you may have seen, we've moved to Cape Town. You can't really see out the window; there's a bit too much glare here, but we are definitely in Cape Town now. We're settled in our new house. It's been a crazy few weeks getting used to, well, firstly, getting all of our stuff down here, getting into this little house. Those of you who came to the club before knew that we were used to living in a much bigger house, and we've had to now cram all of our stuff into a much smaller house, a normal-sized house, for just the two of us. So that's been interesting. Well, five of us if you include the non-human inhabitants. Also getting used to the water situation here in Cape Town. If you haven't been following the news, water is scarce here in Cape Town. We're having a water shortage. There's a possibility that the water might be shut off altogether in the next little while. Last time I saw any news updates about it was this morning, and it looked like it was going to happen beginning of July. So we're getting used to operating on a lot less water than we ordinarily would have, and also with a view to possibly having to figure out how to operate without any water at all. So that's going to be interesting. But now that we're here, and now that we're settled in, now I've got a bit more mental bandwidth to start thinking about what's going to be happening. And first thing I'm going to be doing under the D20 brand in the next little while is I'm going to be doing some YouTube videos, kind of like this one, only perhaps a little more stimulating. So I've been talking to some of the people who are interested in the D20 stuff and who are interested in the things that I like to talk about, and I've been asking them what kind of content people would like to see from me produced under the D20 brand. And the first one that came out was Star Trek. People are interested for some reason in hearing me talk about interesting Star Trek stuff, or interesting to me, hopefully to you too. So I'm going to be starting a new series within the next few days called Star Trek Apologetics. Apologetics, what does that mean? Well, it means never having to say you're sorry. Lol. No, what Star Trek Apologetics is it's an intellectual exercise that I like to engage in which we assume that Star Trek is real, and then we examine potential inconsistencies within the Star Trek canon and try to explain that in a way that's both logically consistent within the franchise and also consistent with the real world. Obviously, I don't actually think that Star Trek is real. That should go without saying, but it's just an intellectual exercise, and it's kind of fun. And in order to do that, to play that game, you kind of need to have an encyclopedic knowledge of the Star Trek universe, which most people don't have, but I do, because that's what my brain does, is it soaks up volumes of useless information. So that's a fun thing, and I'll be putting out some videos on that. So if there are any particular questions you have about the Star Trek universe that you'd like me to address in our Star Trek Apologetics videos, please drop them in the comments below, or send me a message on Discord, and I'll add your question to the list. The other series that I've been looking at putting out some content for is those of you who used to hang out at the club, especially if you spent a fair amount of time at the club, know that every now and then I would go off on a rant. Somebody would ask me a question, or would say something, or would mention a news story, and I would start talking, which is something apparently that some people found entertaining and interesting, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. So I'm going to try and formulate and condense some of those rants into a series of YouTube videos. If there's something you think that might trigger a rant like that in me, again, comments down below, or you can join us on Discord. The link for that is also below. And let's have a go. Let's see if we can get some interesting rants going, and maybe start some interesting conversations that can be beneficial to everybody. Alright, so I'm not going to commit to any dates on those kind of things, because although we are settled and we're operating here in Cape Town, our internet has been a little bit unreliable. Although I can commit to working on the videos over the next few days, I can't necessarily commit to when they'll be uploaded. So I'm going to aim to try and get a Star Trek Apologetics video and an Owen Rants video up in the next week, but no promises. But let's see how it goes. Oh, and of course, if you are one of our patrons, then you get access to those videos a few days before everybody else does. So if everything goes according to plan, if you're one of our patrons, Patreon link is below, you'll be able to see one or more of those videos within the next week or so. If you're not one of our patrons, you're probably going to have to wait a little longer, but not too much longer. I don't want to keep you guys on the edge of your seats too long. But any contribution you'd be willing to make in Patreon is greatly appreciated. It helps us to keep the lights on, and it helps us to carve out some more time in my diary to make more content like this. Other than that, it's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys are keen to chat, I'm keen to chat. I'm always keen to chat. Come and find me on Discord. Again, the link is below. You can probably still find me on Facebook sometimes. That's a thing. Otherwise, see you guys around. SWAT out.